Very excited right now to be joined by the fifth-year head coach of the UCF Knights, Greg Lovelady. Coach, welcome into the show.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Appreciate your time this afternoon. Obviously, your Knights are traveling up to Greenville this weekend to take on Cliff Godwin and number 5, East Carolina. So if you would, just talk about your season to date. Obviously, it's kind of been up and down. Your ball club was projected to be right there at the top. The American Athletic Conference vying with East Carolina for the championship, and you still have that within reach. But just talk about your season to date, and we'll dive a little deeper into things.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a roller coaster. We've had unfortunately, a lot of injuries, especially early on in the year, that really just kind of just couldn't get in rhythm. I mean, it's one game we look like we're a top 25 team, and then the next, we look like we're a bottom 25 team. So it's just been tough to get guys going, and I think, last couple of weeks, we guys have gotten a bunch of at-bats, guys that missed, 6-7 weeks of practice and games and whatnot are now getting, kind of to that 50, 60, 70 at-bat mark that, trying to get them back in rhythm or whatnot. We've had a lot of close losses. It really killed us. I mean, we're 2-8 in one-run games, and they've just been on the losing end of too many of those, and that can switch a season around. If we were 8-2 in one-run games, we still wouldn't be the best record, but we'd be in a whole lot better situation than we are right now. So, and again, just a lot of that is I think just the camaraderie and the togetherness and the fight, and obviously COVID had a lot to do with that, not having the locker room, not being able to have the guys together as a group, because we were trying to keep guys in smallest groups that we could. There was times in December that some guys had barely spoken to other guys on the team, and I think that had something to do with it. So just all the things that are loosening up, and obviously we're together a lot more. You've seen the growth of our guys, and especially these last couple of weeks have started to feel like we've turned a corner or whatnot. But it's been a roller coaster for sure. It's not too late though, and hopefully our guys continue to grow together, continue to get better, and we start clicking kind of on all cylinders, and hopefully kind of be the team that I think not only we thought, but a lot of people thought we would be, at this point of the year.
One of those excellent moments that you reference, obviously weekend 2, you go to Oxford, Swayze Field, such a difficult place to play, one of the top baseball atmospheres in the college game for sure. And you take 2 out of 3, and the only loss was by a single run.
Yeah. I mean, we got walked off, had the lead going into the 9th. I mean, we really outplayed them for all but 2 or 3 innings the entire weekend. And we played great. I mean, the second, we went and swept Auburn last year, and then to go do that in the second weekend. And, you really, obviously had a rough start the first weekend, didn't play very well. And then to bounce back and to do that, you really felt like, okay, like this is what we expected. This is what a lot of people expected. And to be able to beat, 2 pitchers that probably will be first rounders, and another one that might be a top 5 rounder at some point. And obviously their offense was, and obviously they've proven they've stayed in the top 5 the entire year. So a really good baseball team. We went toe to toe with them. And so, again, that just the frustration of the roller coaster season, just knowing that we could do that. Again, went to Florida State and had a lead in the 9th inning, get walked off there. I mean, so, we've played against top 25 teams and done well, and then struggled against teams that we shouldn't struggle against. So it's just been part of the frustration, but obviously that was a huge high note. So it also, I think, to me, the frustrating thing as a coach is knowing that we proved how good we can be, and we've got to be able to answer that bell and play to that standard every single weekend. And I've just done a poor job of getting the guys to be able to do that. But we know what's in there. I mean, and again, I think for me, the good thing as a coach, the opposite side of that is knowing that, it'd be different if it was like, man, like we're not that good. You know what I mean? We're not playing well and we're just not that good. Knowing that it's in there and that there's hope that we can get back to that and playing on a consistent basis at that level is still there. And it's not happening as fast as I want it to. Obviously have to do a better job to get that to happen, but we also know that we've gotten better over the last 3 weeks and more consistent over the last 3 weeks. And we just got to continue that growth and continue to play well. And hopefully we can win some more games and put ourselves back in a situation where we get to play as long as we possibly can.
Yeah, 3 weeks into league play, and you talk about having played more consistently. 8 of your 12 league games have come in that war on I-4 battle, if you will, between you and USF.
Yep.
Taking 3 out of 4 from the Bulls last weekend, you lost the series finale, but uh, just very, very unusual this year. Having to play a team 8 times, especially in 12 ball games. But just talk about that consistency that your club is playing with of late.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been a whole lot better. Again, I think guys have gotten some of the guys that missed a significant amount of time offensively are starting to put together really, really good at bats. And especially at the bottom of our lineup, guys that were just didn't play or were out and missed a whole bunch of time and have just gotten out of the block slow and trying to play catch up, are really starting to kind of feel more comfortable in the box and have better at bats and allow us then to not put so much pressure on the top of the lineup where, there was a while there where if the first 4 guys didn't have a good game, like we had no chance of winning, like we had no chance of scoring. And now we're starting to see where, 2 of the wins this weekend, like the top of the order didn't do a ton and the bottom of the order picked them up and was able to score runs and give us a chance to win the games. And we haven't been able to do that a lot this year where we've just put a lot of pressure on some guys. And when those guys didn't show up, like we weren't going to score more than 1 or 2 runs. And now we're able to score some runs with not having to have those guys show up, which in baseball obviously is really, really hard to do. There's not many Connor Norbys out there that are going to show up and wake up, roll out of bed and hit. Like, so to be able to know that the lineup is stretched out and we can put our faith in other guys and know that, hey man, like we can win different ways today. Like, again, I think just gives us confidence. But it also gives us the ability to take the pressure off those guys and win using different guys, like having different guys step up and win those games. And so I think that's been part of the consistency and just the edge. Like we got to have that edge. We felt like we've had games where like that Ole Miss, I felt like we had edge. There's been games where we've come out and we felt like, okay, we got to prove, we got to bounce back and we have that edge. And then it's like, all right, we won the game, like great. And then we kind of lose the edge and we don't play as well. And so, again, it was 1 game on, 1 game off. And so we put together a 2-game win streak, a 3-game win streak here in the last couple of weeks where we're starting to stack games on top of games in terms of quality of play. So obviously we played 3 in a row against South Florida. We played really, really well before we had a letdown. So hopefully we start to put those 2 and 3 game, quality efforts and quality games together. And start putting together, some more win streaks, start winning, the rest of these series and try to get us back to where we want to be.
And it's, as you know, Coach, batting average obviously doesn't always tell the whole story. So that's one of the numbers, even though it doesn't tell the whole story. 254 surprised me as a team, but then, like you said, you've had, I think, at least 7 or 8 games where you scored 10+ runs and 3 or 4 where you've topped 15.
Yeah. And again, it's just been that roller coaster. And so again, we know we have the ability. I think the thing that keeps me out of bed is knowing that the talent is there. We've always believed that. We know how good we can be. We showed that last year. We showed that against Auburn and Ole Miss. We just got to be tougher. You look at, and again, I mean, there's more differences, but when you look at our record and look at East Carolina, like just what they've been able to do late in the game. Like they just believe I see that cone running across the field on Twitter, I swear, like every weekend, so yeah. Like they win a lot of games late and you got to have that toughness. You got to have that belief and whether that's coming from behind or just being able to find ways to score in those last couple innings. Like they figured it out, and again, and they've done that for years, you know what I mean? But that's what you're trying to emulate. That's what you're trying to be like. And we've had that in the past. Just this year, I just think some of the strengths of our program have always been the culture and the camaraderie and the way the guys play together. We always seem to play better than our talent. When you look at last year's team, that was the difference. We had a culture that shifted from the 2 years previous where maybe we weren't like that. Last year, the camaraderie and the culture was really where we wanted it. And so we felt like we played better than maybe what our talent was. And this year we haven't been able to do that, but there's been obviously the COVID stuff has really hurt those type of programs. I think that really bank a lot more on that, on the camaraderie and the culture than maybe the talent level. And until we keep stacking these recruiting classes on top of each other, we've had to do that. And again, we showed it last year. And so we just haven't been able to do that this year. But we've gotten better at it. We won, we walked off South Florida on one of the games. We won another close one. So we won some close games this past weekend. So again, hopefully that we're kind of turning that corner and then we can win some of these close ones, and be able to play better late in the games and be able to, whether that's come back from down a run or two or be able to hold guys off, try to win some of these close ones and hopefully get us on the winning end of more games than we have.
Coach, shifting over and talking about your pitching staff, Colton Gordon, 6'4", 225-pound southpaw, striking out 72 in 55 innings of work. Just talk about him and everything he brings to the table.
Yeah, I mean, he's our hardest worker. He's our most dedicated guy. The growth, even last year, having such a great year, in the whatever the 4 or 5 starts that he had, and then, easily could have rested on that and just been like, all right, he went to University of Florida and things didn't work out, and then to a junior college and to us. And, after last year, he could have very easily been like, okay, I've proven that I belong. I've proven that I can pitch. And obviously, if there was a 10-round draft, he would have been drafted. But he didn't. He said, I got to go back to work. Like, I got to be in the top 5 rounds. Like, in case this happens again, I don't want to be left out, and worked his tail off all summer, worked his tail off, every day. I mean, he is the standard at which all of our pitchers should be judging themselves. And he's in the office every day watching film and trying to figure out what do I need to do today to get better? What is my game plan today to work on something to get better for my next start? And just meticulous in his preparation. And he goes over and beyond the things that we ask him to do to get himself, his body and his mind ready to play. And then he goes out there and competes like crazy. And obviously when you got a guy that's super talented that loves to compete like that, you got a chance to be really, really good. And he's obviously done that for 2 years for us. And it's always comforting to know you got a guy like that on Friday nights that's going to give you a chance to win and give you a great effort. Put yourself in a chance to win the game when he pitches.
Tell us about the rest of your pitching plans and with the weekend rotation, then we'll dive into the bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, we got 2 grad transfers that came in, Kenny Serwa and AJ Jones. And, both guys have had great careers at other places and been able to come here and just give us instant age and maturity and guys that have been through the battles and understand how to prepare every week and understand how to pitch at this level, and so getting 2 guys of that experience was something that we really, really needed. Just losing 2 of our starters and our closer last year, weekend guys, like we didn't really have anyone that had pitched a ton just because we didn't get to play that many games last year. So there was nobody kind of waiting in the wings that we felt comfortable with. So bringing in 2 guys that had been at this level and that they've done a great job. Obviously, Kenny missed the first 4 weeks being hurt, but is really starting to now find his rhythm, and really be able to give us that Saturday kind of number 2 starter type guy and done a great job. And AJ, AJ it's just got to be more consistent. I mean, he's had some games where he's just been absolutely dominant. And then there's been some games where he hasn't been, and so just having that consistency again with him, it would just kind of settle our pitching staff and give us, he has the ability to give us 3 like upper echelon starters, and he has that ability, has that stuff. He's obviously proved it. So if he can just get out there and continue to be consistent, and you got 3 guys that give us a chance to win every game. And then obviously Jack Sinclair has been our number 4 guy, and somebody that's been here for a while, and again, same thing, just we need him to be more consistent. I mean, he's got the body and the stuff, and 93, 95, like with sink and movement and 2 other off-speed pitches that are really good, like but he's got to be able to show up every inning. It's not about every game. It's like can't throw 3 good innings and then give up a 5 spot. Like you got to be able to come in there and give us everything you have and empty the gas tank and be consistent, and give us, at least get us, get to that through the 5th inning of being able to, and if you run out of gas at that point, then you run out of gas. Like we got other guys, but we got to be more consistent of being able to go out there every single inning and do the things that we're capable of. And again, if you're going to give up runs, that's one thing, but we got to avoid the crooked numbers as much as we possibly can, especially against a team like ECU.
Tell us about your bullpen, Vespi and Litchfield. They seem to have been pretty consistent for you. But after that, you've had solid performances at times, probably not the consistency that you would have liked.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Litchfield's been a great closer. Just an older guy again that just is able to throw strikes and mix pitches, and has a ton of swing and miss capabilities with his fastball. So, and he's been in those situations, and so he's very seasoned in terms of going through the ups and downs, and even through this year. I mean, he gets the big save against Ole Miss in a big situation where they had some runners on in the ninth, and crowd going wild, and is able to slam the door. And then he's on the game when we get walked off where things didn't go so well. You know what I mean? So and again, they just were really good. Like he didn't pitch bad. They hit good pitches and did their job, right? So he's been through that though. So he understands. He knows. I trust him more than anybody else in terms of the mental game of being able to handle big situations, handle when things go wrong, gives up a couple of hits. He comes in that game against South Florida in the extra inning game. We bring him in with the bases loaded, with one out and ground ball and a strikeout, and we don't give up any runs, and allows us to walk him off in the bottom half. So just very, very trustworthy guy, and very even keeled. And it's just always good to know that the moments aren't going to be too big for him at the end of the game. And obviously Ben Vespi is a true freshman. It's just really, really hard to do some of the things that he's been able to do, and he's just grown up so much, in the last 2 months. Just again to see the growth that he's had, and every outing just continues to get better. The velo keeps climbing. He's working really, really hard. So it's great to see him have the success that he's been having. And Hunter Pattison really has been our other guy, and he started in the rotation early in the year, and didn't do so well. But I think there were some things that that we fixed mechanically and whatnot. That his last 9 outings, he's given up one. Or not last, I can't remember what it is, but like his last 9 innings, he's only given up 1 run, and a bunch of 14, 15 strikeouts to only 3 walks. So his numbers in the second half of the year, or since we started conference or whatnot, have been astronomically better. And obviously the ERA being like a 7 or something looks bad, but I mean, he literally gave up 9 runs in 1 inning in his first start. And so, that obviously skews everything in a bad way. But when you just look at it, stuff, left-hander up to 95, like has legit swing and miss stuff. We really thought he could have been our Friday night guy, and just stumbled out of the box and just working his way back. But again, he was where he was that second weekend, and he pitched great against Ole Miss. He started against Ole Miss and went and did a tremendous job. And the next couple of weeks just struggled again. And but from where he's been those first 4 weeks to where he is now, just the growth has been awesome. I've just been proud of him for not giving up or hitting the panic button, but just showing up every day and working, and really turned himself into a really big part of our pitching staff. And it's been a huge help these last couple of weeks because he's pitched in some really, really big innings.
Very quickly, tell us about your ball club defensively.
Yeah. Obviously we got 3 freshmen on the infield, which is, you would think would be really, really tough, but I've been actually really, really proud of them. We played, a lot better than I think you would expect younger guys to play. Have done a great job. I mean, Alex Freeland in playing shortstop as a true freshman, like it's just awesome to see, and to see how well he's played. Some of the, Sports Center top 10 plays that he's made, like you just don't usually see that. You're usually seeing 20, 25 errors from freshmen in the infield when they play every day. And, he's on pace to be at, way less than that, you know what I mean? And so just to see that consistency of him going out there, but all the infielders have done a great job. Our outfield, we obviously have a lockdown center fielder in Jeffrey Pena, who is just one of the best defensive center fielders in the country, just with his speed and ability, and obviously the arm and everything like that. And our corner guys are good. I mean, we play great defense. We shrink the field, which is all part of what we want to try to do. We want to limit the amount of acreage out there that the ball can fall. And again, our infield defense has been great and young. And so that's good for the future, but just been happy. And obviously Josh Crouch is a great receiver. He just is able to steal strikes and do a lot behind the plate and really help us. And, defensively and on the mound, we've been good. We just got to be more consistent, especially from an offensive standpoint, to allow that defense and pitching to help us win games.
Final thing for you, Coach. I know you've already touched on this some. You referenced Connor Norby, the tremendous year he's having, just been out of this world. You keep waiting for him to have a little bit of a slump, but it hasn't happened so far. And you referenced some of the ability this team has as far as responding within games and coming back from deficits and so forth. Just finding a way to do whatever it takes to pull out victories. So just talk a little bit as far as Cliff Godwin's ball club.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really, really well coached. They're really deep. I mean, they got, just especially the bullpen. I mean, it's very rare. I mean, the starters, they're not afraid to get them out of there early and really go to their pen and mix and match. And it seems like the guys don't throw, more than one time through the order, and they just have that depth though to do that almost every game. And so it allows their starters to go out there and empty the tank and know they don't have to throw 7, 8, 9 innings. They can go out there and give them 5, 6 good innings. And if they can get farther than that, great. If the score dictates that, great. But they know they got depth in the bullpen that's going to allow them to come out and continue to continue to put up zeros and give them a chance. And then when they are down and they're down 2-1 or down by 1 or 2, the bullpen is gonna hold them and put up zeros and allow the offense to come through. And again, I mean, it's hard to hit 300 as a team. It's hard to hit 300 as an individual, let alone hit 440 something. And so again, they have great matchup difficulties with they're going to play 3 or 4 lefties plus another couple switches. So could have 7 lefties in the lineup, or you could have 7 right-handers in the lineup, which can be a matchup nightmare for other teams' bullpen. So, and again, I mean, they have the ability, obviously, with Seth and his ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And, again, it just up 1 through 9, and there's going to be tough at bats. There's no easy outs. And when you get to guys that aren't as hitting as well, they're going to be able to bunt and do some different things and put pressure on you. And you got to be prepared for squeezes and safety squeezes and all that stuff. So just really, really well coached, but they just have a high level of belief in each other and in themselves. And I don't feel like they ever think they're out of the game and don't have a chance to win it. And that puts a lot of pressure on the opposing team to know that you got to, whether you're down, you got 5 runs in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning, man, it's not over. Like, you got to show up and continue to compete and try to finish the game. And because you know that they're going to come out and compete their tails off, and just with a ton of talent offensively. And again, like, there's not a ton of weaknesses, and you got to be able to mix and show some different things and try to stay away from the center of the plate, because they can do a ton of damage, especially the middle of the lineup, if you allow it. And obviously that's going to be, trying to slow down Connor is going to be really, really difficult. But we'll just have to figure out a way the next 2 days to master the intentional walk before Friday.
Really appreciate your time, Coach. But before we let you go, tell folks how they can follow you on social media as well as UCF baseball. Yeah,
I mean, obviously, all the stuff's online. We're on Twitter and Instagram and everything at UCF. To be honest with you, I think it's _baseball, but I'm not even positive about that. Luckily, I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So, but it's all out there. We're all over the place, so people can follow us and make sure they're understand what we're all about. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of fans out in the outfield that are researching a lot about our players on social media too. So, which is awesome. I mean, that's the fun part about this game, and the fun part about this level of play. And these are the memories. Listening to those guys rag on you, those are the things you're going to talk about for the rest of your life. So I can't wait to hear it.
Safe travels to you and the Knights on Thursday, and we look forward to having you back on down the road.
Okay, I appreciate you. Thanks so much. Have a great one.
Hey, Pirate Nation. This is former East Carolina pitcher Davey Penny of the Clark-LeClair era, class of 2003. Keep it tuned to the Sports Objective as you follow our Diamond Bucks on the road to Omaha, because y'all know we're going.